let's get into Smackdown, shall we?
Let's do it.
Cool. Right, so might be an unpopular opinion this because he's an American footballer, and as we know, they can get away with anything. So Smackdown this week started with should we call him the Gronk, because I can't remember his full name. So it turns out the rumors that were true are the fact that he's going to be involved with WWE, evidently in the capacity of hosting WrestleMania. So he's come out. Well, he was actually introduced by his best pal, Mojo Rawley, who is an unbearable twat. Now, I don't know anything about the Gronk, but given his entrance and his general demeanour and attitude, I would guess he is also an unbearable twat. Sorry, guys, I don't know either of you as people. I'm sure you might be really nice people, but at the end of the day, you are conveying a character in some way, and that character seems to be a twat. So, that being said, what I would have got from the Gronk is that he seems to have been a fan from old when it comes to WWE. He seems to have a love for the industry and the show. And I think he's really enthused about hosting it. As we know, he got involved previously. I can't remember which WrestleMania, sadly, but the one that Mojo won, the Andre thing. He got involved in that. So, you know, he's sort of been around it before, but it looks like he's going to be sort of, I don't know if he's going to do any more promo work or build up before Mania, whether he's going to be involved after the fact, but we now know that he's going to be the host for this now, what is now a 2-day Mania. And yeah, so we had that happen. Then we had Corbin interrupt, and then he was quickly followed up by Elias. Elias done. Did Elias get through all of his song this time? I actually can't recall.
No, I think Corbin said, "Oh, go on, be quick," and then he got cut off, I think.
Yeah, there was an awkward little bit of promo work as well from Mojo and the Gronk, because the Gronk told Mojo that he's always Mojo's always at his back, and he was like, "Oh, let me get your front," and I was like, what? Is he coming on to him? What the fuck is that? So I think that probably sounded a little bit better in their heads than they wanted it to.
I mean, what happens in an American football locker room stays in an American football locker room, you know?
Yeah, it just sounded like a chat up line or something. I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, so they had all these shenanigans happen, and they're obviously using the opportunity to build up Corbin versus Elias eventually. You know, the match that nobody really wants or cares about.
So I think that actually did get announced, I think, didn't it, in that segment? I think.
Apologies, you're quite right. Yeah,
Gronk actually booked it, didn't he? Somehow.
He did. Well, apparently he can't book matches, which he'd be the first person to enter a WWE ring with a microphone who couldn't. But no, he actually made it clear that he can't book matches for Mania, but he would advocate this match being made.
Right.
Don't know why that was necessary. I don't know. Are they going to pretend like there's some difficulty in this match being booked, or is it just going to be on the card next week and we go, well, turns out he can book matches?
Fuck knows. All I know is that if he's advocating anything, he should be advocating never doing that fucking dance down to the ring ever again.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's got fucking something. I think I've seen something floating around on, I think it was on Reddit. Someone said it was the King of Gronk style, which made me chuckle. But it was just like, holy shit, that was bad.
Thing is, I don't know much about the Gronk as a person, but Mojo, it's clearly a gimmick. He might be a much calmer person in real life, but Mojo must be the worst person to be around ever, because this whole get hype thing is just fucking annoying. Like, honest to God, like, I don't tend to feel sorry for Michael Cole, but I felt sorry for Michael Cole. It's like, what are you doing? Just groping him? Fucking hyperactive twat. And this is why his character is an unbearable twat.
He was just getting his front.
Well, of course, that's what it is. Wow. We pieced it together. Yeah, so, I don't know. It was okay. You know, things happened. Yeah, how do you feel about the Gronk hosting WrestleMania, Carl?
I mean... Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, if there's ever going to be any WrestleMania that Gronk should host, it should be one that is out of the Performance Center, I guess. So, yeah, fitting.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure. When did we start needing a host for Mania? Like, that's not always been a thing. I recall quite a few Manias where we didn't have a host.
Yeah, I feel like it's been it's been a good few though, hasn't it? Like the last few. I know New Day have done it. Alexa Bliss has done it.
Sometimes it's a little bit like, okay, we've got these stars who either can't wrestle or we've not got a card for them.
Do you know what? I think it might have actually started with The Rock, maybe. I'm not sure whether someone maybe did it before him, but I remember The Rock hosted WrestleMania one year.
Yeah, but he sort of always, it felt organic that because he always turned up and had some sort of shenanigans. But yeah, it felt kind of weird. Yeah, and then we move on to Sami Zayn, Shinsuke, and Cesaro, who are now apparently named the A2theK Collective because, why not give them a shit name?
Well, yeah.
I feel like they're maybe trying to address some of the issues I've got, and clearly because they listen to the show every week.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Trying to make an actual faction, so they might all start dressing alike soon as well and feel a bit more legit. But when you come out with names like the A2theK Faction, A2theK Faction? Yeah, okay. When you come out with names like the A2theK Collective, it's as shit as things like the B Team or the One Man Band or all the other bullshit titles you come up with that just don't really work as a. Do they not have someone who like quality checks these sort of fucking things?
God knows. But I think, based on what you've just said, where they clearly are listening every week, along with Ricochet, we know, and I'm sorry to break the fourth wall. Hi, Paul Levesque. But we know you're listening, and so
Let's get this straight. Name. This isn't Karl. No, hang on. What's your wrestler name, Karl?
Which one? This isn't Chaos. Yeah. This isn't.
Yeah. Let's get this straight. This isn't Chaos talking Triple H. God, that's a throwback. Just for clarity for anyone listening, we consistently had the same wrestling characters, as I'm sure a lot of people did on the WWE games, and I think we created them for most every WWE game, barring the newer ones that we just haven't bothered to buy. So that's what I'm referencing to there. So we had a bit of a backstage thing where they were introduced as who they are. We had Gulak and Brian ended up in a tag match against who did we actually had Shinsuke and Cesaro, didn't we, in the tag match? Mm-hmm. Weirdly, this was they set up to a Gulak versus Nakamura match next week, and if Gulak wins, Brian will get to face Sami, which seems a little bit messy and convoluted as a booking goes. But that was sort of the tag match happened. Gulak and Brian won, and then we led to this little setup. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we get Brian versus Zayn at WrestleMania for the IC title, then yeah, I suppose it'd be a decent match, a good old Ring of Honor throwback. But
for me, this is not to digress from like you say, it could be a good little Ring of Honor throwback. This is going back to an earlier point that we made with Raw, and a point that the Gronk touched on himself is. It seems odd that they can just decide to make matches like that, even though the Gronk apparently can't make matches.
Yeah.
And we need contract signings for things.
I think.
But apparently, he can randomly go, we're going to have this match next week, and that's sealed, done and dusted.
I think that's my biggest issue I've got at the minute with the way WWE books things. I think they've had that many authority angles over the years that they've kind of now tried to get authority figures off the show, but no one's got a fucking clue who's running anything. Contract signings are fucking facilitated by the commentators.
Yeah. I'm fine. If they want to lean into the inmates running the asylum, I'm fine with that too. But why have things like contract signings when they haven't just decided next week we're going to have this match? They've gone, and the winner will decide who's facing who at Mania. It's like, you're making Mania matches now.
Yeah. At least just be consistent. They weren't even consistent on the same show. You've got fucking the host.
That was literally the next thing that happened.
The host of WrestleMania going, I can't make matches, and then someone else goes, yeah, I'm going to make a WrestleMania match. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, totally unreal. It's I can't get my head around that, and I think I'm just going to call it lazy, to be honest. It's like they can't even be bothered looking at like the segment they did before and having some consistency with the way they do things. It's just naff. Sorry to Americans out there, naff means awful. Yeah, and then we move on from that mess, and we go over to a Paige interview over Skype because again she was still having some travel issues, and ultimately they've gone, well, we'll get the segment done. And firstly, we were interrupted by Bailey and Banks. I'll get that out there just so you're clear that they're in the ring when this all happens. I don't know how you felt about this, Carl. They were almost teasing like there could be a Paige return with the way Bailey was talking to her. Saying you can't do anything anyway, you're retired, you passed it, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, to me, you'd only put that sort of, you'd only antagonize that way if it was ultimately going to go. It's like when The Miz was giving Brian a lot of shit, and then Brian ultimately fought back, and you go, shit, he's going to come out of retirement, you know what I mean? But I don't think that's what's happening here. I think it's just poorly done, maybe. But why hint to that? Why hint to something a lot better when what you're about to do is actually kind of shit? So what Paige was there to do, and I had no idea why it had to be Paige doing it. I think she did try and explain it and say that she asked to be the one to announce the match. Okay, sure. But what she's announced is that the match for Bailey's title is going to include Bailey, Dana Brooke, Tamina, okay, Naomi, and Sasha. Dun, dun, dun. You know, so again, no real surprises there. They're going exactly the way we thought they'd go, where Banks is obviously going to betray Bailey, and everyone else is just going to be there.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, WWE. Prove me wrong.
I think, as you were saying, then,
and it was like,
I think they've kind of set it up. You know, like they've been teasing this Paige thing for ages. As like, is she going to make an in-ring return and stuff like that? And then to set up a match that's got Tamina and fucking Dana Brooke and stuff like that in it. It's just like, it's definitely underwhelming.
Yeah. And it's almost like it's almost like they could hear us booing as she was announcing it, because she didn't announce it as one big match. She was like, you're going to be facing Lacey Evans, and it's like the WWE universe collectively could just be heard going, ah. So she went, and Dana Brooke, and then we all did it again. And I said, Tamina. And then they just kept adding people till we were happy, and we're still not happy. It's a shit match.
Yeah, and I mean, we've gone from the Gronk or fucking whatever saying I can't make matches to, you know, oh well, actually, you know, Daniel Bryan whatever can make a match, and then all of a sudden fucking Paige is announcing a match, and it's like, what are you doing? Is she even the fucking general manager anymore, or literally is it a shit?
Yeah,
is it a shit
even
that
that,
just
like,
asking to announce it. Really?
Yeah, they just kind of dropped that as well. She doesn't even generally manage now.
What the fuck?
Did they even address that? She's just not there.
If that's how you get shit done, then can I announce a match on Raw, please, guys? Obviously you're listening. So
that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Just, you know,
and if Carl gets to introduce a match, I want to introduce a match.
Exactly. So you know, I'll download Skype now, and I'll eagerly await, you know, your call.
Fuck it. You know what, Carl? I'm going to go all in. I'm going to ask maybe for next year's WrestleMania if A2theK could host it.
I mean, why the fuck not? We're more famous than Gronk, so.
I mean, if you need us to dance coming out to the ring, I will.
Okay, no, I can't do that. So I draw the line.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, cancel that, guys. Right, so the other one we had, I think. Oh, so is that pretty much what you want to say on that match, actually, Carl?
Sorry. Yeah, there's fuck all else to say. Is that it's meant to be set up?
Yeah, there's not much to say at all.
Ooh, Banks and Bailey, but yeah, no one gives a fuck. So let's move on.
So what I thought was good, and we mentioned this in the Raw one about putting matches, like the recording on of the Royal Rumble, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. I actually think this one went kind of well, because what they decided to do was put the Cena versus Bray at Mania. What Mania was it, Carl? Help me out here.
Was it 30?
We'll say 30. It had 3 X's. I'm going to say 30. Sorry, I'm just looking.
Oh no, that was the X-rated Mania.
Oh yeah, Bray Triple X. So yeah, and whilst yes, it's an old match and it's one we've all seen before and blah blah blah, it's nice to see it helps build the hype, especially with the stellar promo work that Bray put in last week. It was good to see the sort of, you know, this is where he's coming from. Look at this match. Look at what happened. You know, so it worked well in the context. Again, it's a shame that they're having to do these things to fill time, but it was a good use of that time as far as I'm concerned.
It was interesting.
How did you feel about it?
Interesting as fuck though that they decided to show that match, which also heavily promoted Luke Harper on WWE TV right after he's just been fucking signed to AEW.
That's a really good point.
What the fuck are they thinking?
But to be fair, it's almost like they're not afraid of it. I mean, they basically put Matt's storyline together to put him in AEW. Randy hit him so hard he ended up on a different fucking promotion. That's insane. So
he chair shotted him right into Wednesdays.
So I don't know. Yeah, it was weird, but I found it kind of strange that Matt's exit was kind of a story in itself. And I'm sure it was Matt's doing, not WWE's, but it's a similar thing where they've gone, yeah, we're going to have Randy hit you, and then Matt ends up like going a bit loopy from it again. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure that was just a bit of crafty work from Matt, but I don't know, it sort of bleeds the lines a little bit, doesn't it? And I'll be honest, Carl, there's not a lot to say about the next bit, but basically Alexa and Nikki Cross done a promo, and we're going to have Asuka versus Alexa next week on SmackDown. Yay. And we're obviously building to a tag match there. Again, we've got to mention Alexa. She's great on the mic, she's great in the ring, and I look forward to the match. Do you have any notes on that one?
No.
No, not a lot to say. It did what it needed to do. Right, so I really enjoyed this next bit, actually. We had the Miz and Morrison come out to just have a bit of fun, I think. So they were in the ring on chairs doing their talking about everyone else, basically. But then they kept cutting to different wrestlers in the audience, but it was them. So Miz and Morrison were being the Usos, and Miz and Morrison were being Heavy Machinery, and Miz and Morrison were being the New Day. And it was just some good fun. It was good to see them on the mic. They took the piss out of everyone quite well. I quite enjoyed it, to be fair.
I completely agree. I thought it was the highlight of the show for me. It was definitely really funny.
Yeah. And again, I even on my notes have put just them doing what they do best, and they bounce off each other really well. They are great on the mic. They're great to work in the audience up. All right, we didn't have an audience, but it was a really good piss take and a good bit of what's the word? Obviously pre-recorded work, wasn't it? You know what I mean? They've done a couple of vignettes before where it's been like that fake movie trailer they done was really good and stuff. So no, it was good. It was good use of time, and it was a good bit of fun. And this obviously led on to a match versus Heavy Machinery. Now, Ziggler came along in commentary and basically antagonizes Otis, so then it just sort of diverges into that, really. So Ziggler put up a picture of him and Mandy Rose enjoying each other's company. That actually sounds like I'm trying to suggest that it was some sort of nude. They just in a car together or some shit, I don't know. So this aggravates Otis, and we just get to see Otis just sort of lose it, which was actually quite good. It was good to see him just lay waste to people, to be honest. He throws the Miz and Morrison around like there's nothing, and leads to the DQ for Heavy Machinery, but I think it marks Otis as a beast. And to be fair, if you've seen some of the stuff he puts on his Instagram of his exercise routine, he is a fucking beast because he can lift some weight. But yeah, and it was a good way of building him leading into this match they're going to go forward to with him and Ziggler. But overall, the promo I enjoyed. The match was a decent match. Probably not the best, making the tag team champs look as weak as they did. But again, if you're going to book Heavy Machinery to take the titles, maybe it's not too bad. Again, Carl, do you have any notes on this one?
No, I think the promo itself was fantastic. I thought the costumes and stuff that they put on and dress it up as bacon for Heavy Machinery and stuff like that was really funny. I think I am getting a bit tired of the fucking Dolph and Otis and Mandy Rose storyline thing. I feel like I don't know where it's going with that. I thought it was going to be quite obvious that apparently she texted Dolph or she texted him that, and she didn't realize he was doing it. I thought they were going to play it into her tag team partner was the one that did it, because obviously she's
I thought that as well.
She's a bit of she swings that way, shall we say. So I thought that
so there'd be like a unrequited
so she could be secretly in love with Mandy, but I don't know where it's going with it now, and they've almost turned Mandy into a heel, and just basically she's now going out with Dolph, and I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. So
it's not even like a good heel turn either, because they've not made it obvious. They're just kind of lazy. Like last time Otis spoke to her, she was like, "Oh, it's a little too late now, Otis." And it's like, okay, little too late with all this evidence that Ziggler's been a dick. Okay,
yeah.
Like it just, I don't know where they went with that. It was a bit strange. I assume there's more to come, but it was just a bit odd the way they did it. And then the last fun of the night was the shittest part of the night, probably. So we had the contract signing for Goldberg and Reigns. So, Spear versus Spear. And then, I don't like Reigns on the mic. I don't like Goldberg at all, if I'm honest. The more I see of him, I'm like, yeah, you really shouldn't talk. But, Roman weirdly addresses the cushion. I'm not sure how that came about. It just suddenly is like, we just want to show you this tweet right quick, Roman, and we want you to explain why you wrote it. That was weird. And he basically said something about like he does that like X amount of times a week or a year or whatever, and he's not going to injure himself or some shit. Quite pissy and defensive, to be honest. But anyway, so he addresses the hot topic of the cushion that he hits, and then there's a bit of back and forth between him and Goldberg. Okay, Reigns trying to sound like I struggle. I don't know what it is with Reigns. I struggle to sort of buy a lot of him being, when he's trying to talk like the tough guy, and he was like, all he sees is a little bitch bulldog in his yard, and I'm sure it sounded badass in his head, but I don't know, it just didn't land for me. But they're both angry. They both think they're going to beat each other, and they both signed a contract. That's pretty much it. Oh, and they're both insufferable dicks.
But the question is, how did the table do, Anthony?
And you know what? I don't think anyone flipped the table. Mainly because I don't think Roman wanted to hurt his hands. And I don't think Goldberg can lift a table, looking at how he struggles to lift anything these days. So we had a nice civilized bitch fest, and then signed contracts. I think the table stayed intact.
Do you know what, though? I think we might have just given a spoiler there for WrestleMania, because how is Goldberg going to put Roman Reigns over when he can't fucking lift anything over his fucking head at all? So
I love it. That's boss. But yeah, no. Again, I have no interest in this match. I think it's been extremely poorly booked. I really fucking hate the fact that they throw something together last minute and call it a main event match. It's really annoying to any sort of story building that's been up before that. But this is what we have, and who knows? Someone's going to spear the other one much harder than the first one speared him, or something. I mean, you're booking it as spear versus spear, so is Roman allowed to do his two other moves, or is it just
I think
spears?
it's only spears, which is fine, because then he doesn't have to injure his little hand by throwing punches. So,
because to be honest, this match will win me right over, Carl, if Goldberg runs in for the spear and Reigns just jumps up and punches him in the face, and it's like Superman punch to the spear.
I mean,
I'd be like, well, no one saw that coming, given that it's been booked as spear versus spear.
I mean, to be honest, the sad part is it's going to be something very similar to that, isn't it? Because they can't put on a match, so it is literally just going to be, a few spears from Goldberg, a few spears back from Reigns, and then probably a attempted jackhammer, Superman punch, new champ.
Yeah, this is what kind of bugs me with when you're trying to build people is like unstoppable, to the point that you're like, I'm going to do my finisher, and it's not going to put you down. I'm going to keep doing it and doing it. And they've had this so many times where you go, right, so basically the next time you build this up, he's going to have to do more than he did last time. And then you get to a stupid point where it's like, oh my God, he's took 7 Superman punches.
Well, that's it. It's meant to be a finish for a reason. Like, more and more of late, they just literally spam finishes. There is about 10 different fucking finish attempts in a match, and they're invincible kicking out of them all. And it's like, well, if people are kicking out of your finish, you need to find yourself a new finish.
Yeah, so for me, from a rating point of view, I think I'd have to give this week's SmackDown a 2 out of 5. It wasn't bad. It was following a similar format to what we've had since, obviously, the whole corona epidemic. But I think what hinders it for me, certainly, is that I'm really not invested in a lot of the storylines that are going on here. I couldn't care less about Reigns and Goldberg. Obviously, I'm happy with the Bray Wyatt and John Cena stuff. But there's not a lot there to keep me drawn, and I don't know. It was a lot more misses than hits for me, so it's going to be a 2.
Do you know what? I couldn't even muster up a 2 for this one. I think I've had to go with a 1.5. Like if I just look back at everything that they put out in that show. I don't give a damn about Gronk. I don't give a damn about Mojo and that whole thing. I mean, I like Elias, but I'm not digging this whole story he's involved with. The fucking artist collective shite. I mean, if it ends up in a Bryan Sami Zayn match, fine. But I'm a bit tired of them as a faction already. Paige, hair promo and that whole thing with Bayley and Sasha felt really bad. Like I'm struggling to find good things. The only shining point for me was the Miz and Morrison stuff. I thought the promo with the pretending to be the guys in the crowd and stuff like that was really enjoyable, really funny, and it was quite a breath of fresh air, for the rest of SmackDown, really. And as you just said, like, no one gives a fuck about Goldberg and Roman Reigns at this point. So to end the way it ended, it was just, even that was awful too. So 1.5, and that's me being generous, really. I mean, it got better than NXT, but that's because NXT was a fucking video package show. So
yeah. That's the only thing I can say for SmackDown. At least it had something. So that's SmackDown. That's the end of this week in wrestling, and probably one of what will be quite a few interesting weeks now, really.
This is a clip from our weekly podcast, A2theK WrestleTalk. The full show can be found on Spotify, Apple, Google, and pretty much anywhere else that you find your podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and we hope you enjoy.